Today on our React video, we're going to be interacting with a TikTok video by Brandon Robertson on abortion, on why can't pro-life and pro-choice people just agree to get along. And so I have some things to say.
Christians, no matter what side you are on the abortion debate, the one principle we need to keep front and center is Jesus' command to love our neighbors and even love our enemies as ourselves.
Now, this is absolutely correct, that this is the Lord's command. And so pro-lifers are commanded to love their adversaries, love their enemies as themselves. That includes every pro-choicer. It also includes all the children in the womb. You can't say, look, why don't we pro-lifers and pro-choicers come together on the shared principle that all human life is to be respected. That's the pro-life position. That's the pro-life position. You can't say, let's try to bring peace to this debate by respecting everyone except for Murphy, Smith, and Brown. You can't do that. Sorry.
In this debate, we have allowed ourselves to be manipulated by political agendas to demonize other people, to believe that other people are fundamentally evil.
So when you believe that people are fundamentally evil, fundamentally sinful, you're not demonizing them, that's humanizing them. That's the doctrine of total depravity. We recognize, Orthodox Christians recognize, that sin is a shared inheritance that we all have. We all have a fundamental rot at the base. And the only way out of that is the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's the only solution. So when I say that to kill children, to offer children up on the altars of convenience, and that people who do this are sinful and wicked, and the abortionists who do it are sinful and wicked, that's not demonizing them. This is something that sinful humans do. Humans have been sacrificing babies for millennia.
Are fundamentally motivated by evil intentions. And when we think about others that way, it allows us to dehumanize them. It allows us to say and do terrible things against the others.
So, obviously, every Orthodox Christian believes that even when we go to war, we must love our enemies. Even when we go to war, we must pray for our enemies. We should rejoice if they're converted. We should not be doing anything out of malice or contempt. And he's right about this. We must not dehumanize anyone in the legitimate sense of that word. But opposing stridently, opposing vocally, opposing strongly is not the same thing as pulling out any trick in the book.
If we want to have a productive conversation around abortion, if we want to see progress in this country, no matter what direction you believe that progress should go in, it needs to start with reasoned, rational conversation. It needs to start with rejecting the emotionalization of this issue.
Rejecting the emotionalization. So how come there's music playing in the background? Why does he have this stirring music? Why is this soundtrack going on if he wants us to reject emotionalization? Is his appeal a non-emotional appeal? No, he's making a very impassioned emotional appeal for us to all get along. But this is an issue that you can't really split the difference and agree to disagree. You can't shake hands and go your separate way.
And instead, get down to talking about our individual experiences, our beliefs, our values, the science.
Why? We have to get down to talking about our individual experiences? That doesn't settle anything. That's what causes the problem. What we need is an overarching standard. We need a standard to appeal to. And that standard can't be all our own lived experiences. What he's wanted to do is say, let's quit fighting with each other and shake hands in the fog and agree to go our separate ways in the fog, each at our own pace. That's not the way to get anywhere.
When we can talk in those terms, that's when we can begin to gain understanding. Because here's the truth. Most pro-choice people do not want to see abortions increased. Most pro-life people are not anti-women. What's happened on both sides is that the far extremes have gained the loudest voices, and we begin to identify the other side with those extremes, rather than the majority of people in the middle who see things in a much more nuanced way. So to my pro-choice friends, please remember, pro-life people are basing their opinions, their beliefs about this topic on convictions, on religious values, and those should be respected as we dialogue and debate with them, even as we disagree with them. And to my pro-life friends, please reject the narrative that pro-choice people just want to kill babies and we don't have a regard for people's lives.
Notice his pronouns, that we. Yeah, so he's the way if you look over the last minute here, the way he's phrasing this, he's identifying himself as pro-choice. He is pro-choice, and he says he's among the pro-choicers that don't want to. They don't want to kill all the babies. They just want it to remain legal to kill some of them.
Because that's the furthest thing from the truth. We want to see abortion decreased. It's just we disagree about how we go about that.
Decreased by how much? On what basis? Decreased why? If it is the unlawful taking of a human life, then we don't want to see it decreased. We want to see it eradicated. If it is not the unlawful taking of human life, why should we want to see it decreased? What business is it of mine? If it really is a cluster of cells, and that's all it is, if there really is not a human life in a woman's womb, then it really is none of my business. It really is none of my business. But if that child is created in the image of God, then we can't settle for anything less than an agreement to protect all human life, period.
So let's continue to keep Jesus' values front and center. Let's continue to keep love, civility, and ability to engage with people across divides.
Love and civility to everyone. Love and civility for all, except for the kids. If you're under a certain height or weight, the love and the civility that Jesus commanded is something that we can continue to debate.
And maybe, just maybe, we can make progress on this very complex moral issue.
You can't make any progress on any moral issue, still less a complex one, if you don't have a fixed standard. You must have a fixed standard. By what standard? As I'm fond of saying, by what standard? Thanks for watching. If you'd like more of this kind of content, be sure to check out Canon Plus. That's where you can find all of my audiobooks and a huge collection of resources to help you engage with culture and live faithfully. By subscribing to Canon Plus, you're supporting the making of this show and more. If you haven't joined up yet, you can get your first month for just 99 cents by using the promo code DOUG99.